Hi, welcome to the Calm Sober House YouTube channel, and in today's video what we're going to do, we're going to talk to Donny and he's going to share his story about alcoholism and recovery. Yeah, hi, I'm Chris. I'm the co-founder of the Calm Sober House here. This is Donny. And what we're going to do, we're just going to share a story. Donny's going to share a story about alcoholism and recovery and hopefully give you some inspiration and give you some ideas about what alcoholism is really about. So Donny, do you want to just tell us a little bit about your early days of drinking and whether you think that your environment played a part when you was growing up in your drinking?
Yeah, looking back now, without a doubt, I grew up virtually, there was alcohol all the time round about us, between my grandparents, my uncles, and it was just accepted. You drank, there was nothing, nobody ever seen anything wrong with it. And I started drinking at an early age, probably 13, 14, and drinking bottles of beer by the time I was 15, 16, and I'd be drinking spirits as well. So it was there.
So fair to say, like, everybody around you was drinking, the older people in your life, the people that maybe you looked up to a bit, everyone was drinking.
Yeah, I drank from an early age with my uncles. I was going to pub with my uncles when I was 15.
So what did you kind of start drinking when you was younger? Did the alcohol look like? What was you?
From about the age of 12, my grandmother used to give me a bottle of Sweetheart Stout, it was called. Right. And the time I was going to the pub with my uncles, it was lager shandies. And then once I started drinking with my friends, it was just whatever we could get.
And was it drinking every day? Was it quite heavy drinking in the early days, or?
In the younger days, it was just occasionally weekends, when we could get it. But as soon as I became a legal age to drink and go in pubs, it was whenever I could.
Yeah.
More the better. And I was never happy with one beer. It always had to be more and more.
So was you like the typical kind of alcoholic where you'd be the last person at the bar, the last person standing, wanting more and more? Or?
Yeah, I probably had my first blackout when I was 15.
That's quite early.
The time I was 16, I was getting in trouble with police, fighting. But it was just, again, I seemed to get away with it, and the more I got away with things, and just progressed from there. And then I started getting into drugs as well. But again, looking back now, I would take amphetamines, speed, because it meant that I'd drink more.
Went hand in hand.
Yeah, it was just, I could party all night and keep drinking.
Quite an old classic combination, isn't it? Yeah. So looking back now then, would you say that alcoholism is progressive, and could you see any like early warning signs? Maybe not picked up on them, but looking back through that.
I suppose I was never looking for them, but looking back now, it was very obvious signs. The blackouts for one. Getting in trouble with the police was just every weekend virtually, and it was getting worse. The violence was getting worse, but to try and shield my parents from it, I moved out of home very early, and I was thinking they weren't getting to hear about it, but obviously they were. But as far as I was concerned, I was on my own, and that was it. It wasn't harming anybody else. And my friends round about me, they were all drinking as well. One of my best friends is dead now with alcohol. So, and there's about, probably out of my year at school, there's at least 10 of us turned into full-blown alcoholics.
Oh, wow, yeah. Okay, can you give us an idea? So when you crossed that line into alcoholism, from starting young and drinking and stuff, but then you obviously crossed the line at some point, what would you say are some of the like horrors of being an alcoholic? And what were the like withdrawal symptoms like?
Well, I learned at a very early age not to get hangovers. The easiest way for that was have another drink in the morning.
Would you say that was an early warning sign? that you was having a problem with alcohol, drinking in the morning.
Yeah, but I never ever seen it as that. Which is,
Yeah.
and even my friends, the first thing we would do when I went round to the house was give me a beer in the morning. And that continued all through my life. It was just, if I was there, I was drinking.
First thing in the morning.
Yeah.
So that's an early warning sign for me that
Yeah.
someone's got a serious problem with alcohol.
Yeah. I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, when that progressed later on and with my job and that, I thought it was great flying about everywhere with my job, because you could drink any time in the airport and nobody would ever look at you twice.
Yeah, you were saying that off camera earlier, wasn't it? That a lot of your, yet again, your environment at work and stuff was centred around drinking.
Yeah, everything. My younger days were partying. It was everything involved. Everything I've done involved alcohol at some stage. And then once I started to get into the oil industry, all my jobs have all had a heavy alcohol presence in it. It was accepted that that's what you did, you drank.
Drinking every day?
Yeah.
Pretty much every day?
Yeah. It was mostly beer when I was working. But it just, you know, you just got used to getting up with a hangover in the morning. I used to say I didn't get hangovers. But
didn't give yourself time.
Yeah, by the time you get in mid-30s, then 3, 4 in the afternoon, you would be telling yourself, oh no, there's no way I'm going to the pub tonight. And then you would hear other people saying the same thing, and then by the time 5, 6 o'clock comes, first thing you do is bang straight to the bar.
So that's quite important then, isn't it, for me, that you're saying that nearly every day you're saying you're not going to drink, and then 2 hours later you find yourself in the bar again.
Yeah, but I wasn't the only one that was just definitely not going out. In the morning, it was definitely not going out tonight.
Yeah.
But at that time as well, you were getting up for work, say 6:30, and at that time you were still enough alcohol and you didn't get a hangover. By the time you got to 10 o'clock, that's when you would start feeling a bit ropey. Right? So that's the decision, no, I'm not going out tonight, I'm going to have quite a few nights. Yeah. But by the time 5 o'clock comes, it's just automatic. I'll only staying for a couple. 11 o'clock.
That old story, yeah. So when you did get to like severe withdrawal symptoms, what were they like? What was the horrors like, the physical withdrawal symptoms like?
Yeah, the nightmares and it sweats, and later on it was just like, at the very end before I started trying to get treatment, I started taking seizures. They were terrifying me. The first one I didn't know what had happened, but shakes got so uncontrollable I couldn't even get the drink to my mouth, the glass to my mouth. I couldn't even pour the drink in the glass. It's scary, but I think it scared the people round about me a lot more than it actually scared me at the time, until I started taking seizures, and that was things were bad.
And did you try and stop on your own many times, like?
That's when I took the seizures. I remember back in my 20s and 30s, if I didn't drink for a weekend, I actually could self-congratulate. I didn't drink this weekend. It was a huge thing.
Do you think like you could have stopped on your own? Like, so apart from the physical withdrawal symptoms, do you think it's really difficult to stop? Once you're at that level of drinking and that alcoholism has really kicked in, it's really hard to stop on your own.
You can stop for a little while, but I wouldn't say you could do it long term.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think people who suffer from alcoholism, because I see it all the time, people stop for a little while but then they go back to it, they stop, go back to it, stop, go back to it. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a couple of things. After you get over the first couple of weeks, especially the first week, tremors, nightmares, sweats, not being able to sleep. And I didn't eat when I was drinking. I wouldn't eat at all, and so your body's just living off alcohol, the sugar and alcohol. And then I would start eating soup over a couple of days, start getting some more substantial, and get a bit of exercise, and by the time, say, 3 weeks were over, you would start, oh, I'm feeling alright again, and then it's just a vicious circle. I'm just going to have a couple of drinks. I want to drink for a day this time, I want to drink for 2 days. And you might do that, but 2 days later you'll start again, and then it just sometimes went on for 2 months, and then 10 weeks.
So in your own personal experience, for someone who's got a serious problem with alcohol, you can't just have a couple of drinks, right?
No.
No.
If I had one drink today, I might not drink this afternoon, I might not drink this evening, but within the next 2-3 days it would just be back on it, and once I start I can't stop. It just gets, it's a vicious circle that you physically and mentally can't stop after. If I went more than 4 days, I wouldn't stop until I got some sort of shit.
Yeah.
And it got to the stage that I've spoke to family and friends about this. If I hadn't stopped last year, there's a good chance I wouldn't have seen 2020 come in.
Yeah, I agree. I think that for people who've got serious alcohol problems, is that what we have to remember is that alcoholism is an illness, and that people do stop for a little while, but then they always go back to it, and denial creeps in for whatever reasons. And I think this is where it's really important to seek help, right, and seek treatment and get some help for it, because it is like, alcoholism is like a chronic relapsing condition, right?
Yeah.
It's just on off all the time, and if you don't get any help around it, it's going to
it's there as well. It's so easy to get. If you want alcohol,
it's everywhere, right?
Yeah, it's so you'll get it.
All right, so this is a success story. Let's talk about recovery. So when did you say, right, I'm done? I have to get some help. When did the denial of being an alcoholic finish, and when did you say, right, I need to get some help? And how did you do that? What did you do to get some help?
I've probably known for the last 10 years that it was really getting to a stage that, as my friend called me 20 years ago, he called me a functional alcoholic then, with an argument piece of apartment about it, because I took offence to it, saying that no, I had a good job, I've been doing this, but I think that was probably because he hit a nerve. But even then I knew deep down that alcohol was a problem, but I could manage, I could get to work, I could do my job, but it progressively got harder to do things, it got harder to stop the shakes, it got hard to cover up. I was never one to hide my drinking. I drank quite openly.
Yeah, which is quite rare.
But then about 5 years ago, I started doing something I'd never done, was drinking in the house of my own.
Okay. So you started crossing that line of drinking and using on your own, basically, rather than with other people, which is important.
I'd never done that, it was always sociable. I drank in the house at parties, but that was when I would stay on my own, and I would drink, and I'd work it out how much I could drink every evening, but I would still get up for work, and I still managed to do my work.
So I think that's a really important point as well. I think that people think that they have this term functioning alcoholic, that as long as I'm going to work and I'm still earning money, I'm all right. It's a very big part of denial process, I think, in alcoholism. But it got harder and harder for you. So when, over them 10 years of knowing that you had a problem, you still denying it a little bit, but knowing it's there and functioning, when did it all come to a head and you was, I have to get treatment, or did you get treatment? How did you?
It was a vicious cycle there. I actually flew back from a vacation. I was working in one of the Middle East countries, and I'd been on my leave back in Thailand, and I flew back there, and I was drinking on the plane. And normally the first day I arrived back, I wouldn't go out that night. Again, Azerbaijan, there was a huge drinking culture there. We weren't working offshore, we were onshore all the time. And I got into a lot of bother the first night there, and I felt so guilty in the morning. I left my job and went back to Thailand and drank solidly for a year nearly.
For a year,
The money I spent was just crazy, and my friend came over from Glasgow, and it was him, and he said, I was actually talking to him 2 days ago, and he said, I thought you were dying. And it was him that persuaded me to go to rehab. He booked it, phoned up, found out all about it, and dropped me off there. And I did 6 weeks. Where I met yourself.
Yeah, when we first met at rehab, right? Yeah, and I was a counsellor there.
Yeah, and I came out of there feeling great, looking healthy, and 3 weeks later I was back on it again, even worse, just spirits.
So is that part of the process of the illness again? Do you think that you done 6 weeks in rehab, but then you came out and 3 weeks later you found yourself drinking again? Or is there anything in them 3 weeks or something you didn't do that maybe you should have done, or do you just think it's part of the illness that you relapsed on?
I went back to doing exactly what I was doing before.
Okay. So it didn't change much then?
No.
Like,
And I was feeling that well, maybe I can. Even though deep down I probably knew I shouldn't. And then that was another really bad bender. That stage, I never left it. I don't walk. Furthest I walked was to the toilet, and it was another complete mess. I actually went to a Buddhist temple to detox that time. That was the longest after that detox that I stayed sober, 7 months. But I think 3 months after into my sobriety that I knew I was going to drink again.
you just knew?
Yeah. And one day I was just driving down the road in my motorbike, stopped in at 7-Eleven. To me it's totally subconscious. Bought a bottle of whiskey. Went back to the house, opened it. When my wife came home, I was about halfway through it. She's like, "Ah, baby, what are you doing?" I says, "Okay, it's okay." And then everyone got worse and worse. It really was more painful with the head.
Progressing more and more.
I think it's about then that I realised that drinking myself to death was going to be bloody hard and painful.
And did you want to drink yourself to death
Yeah,
at that point?
I decided that was the only way.
Was the only way. So you got to death's door where you actually wanted to drink yourself to death.
Yeah, but it was going to be really difficult and painful. I never thought enough about the people round about me at the time either. I was phoning up 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning back in the UK. I got to the stage that my best friend, the guy that took me to rehab in the first place, he wouldn't answer the phone to me anymore because it was hurting him that much, seeing the state I was in. And then that's when I got the idea that I was going to go away to one of the other countries, buy a big bag of heroin and just finish it that way. But to me that wasn't suicidal thoughts. It was just, that was going to be the way. That was my logical thinking, that was the way to finish it without hurting anybody.
Yeah, I've spoke to many alcoholics when they get to that point, like, and I've even heard people say today is the day that I'm going to kill myself.
Yeah, I've actually, but again I didn't consider it suicidal.
Yeah.
It's my way.
Yeah, and I think many people, alcoholics do. It's not even that they plan it, they do kill themselves.
Yeah,
You know, I've seen it in hospital, I've seen people not get on their bed, please don't resuscitate me, when I was working on the detox ward in hospital. You know, it's
Guy I grew up with, he did it 3 years ago. Yeah, I brought him out here twice to try and help him stop drinking, you know, blind leading the blind. But and he told me that he was going to do it, but I never took him seriously. I knew he wasn't happy, but I never actually thought he would go through and do it. That was, to me, that I used that as an excuse to go to Albania.
Another reason. Okay, well you are in recovery.
And yeah.
How many months sober now?
Just it'll be a year next month.
A year next month, amazing. And this is what I mean about inspiration for someone that, you know, I've known you become a very dear friend over the last year, and to see someone that deep in alcoholism and now being nearly a year sober is like amazing. So what do you do? How did you get sober? What do you do differently? You said before that you didn't change when you came out of rehab. Did you do things differently this time? And
it's been a number of things. One is really important thing is having people around about you. Isolation is just a killer. It's just too much time with your thoughts. I'm an overthinker anyway at the best of times. and I started doing the steps. I found a sponsor through AA, and I started feeling happy, which is bloody amazing, you know. I wake up in the mornings now, I look forward to the day. It really is a combination. Speaking to people, understanding that one drink is all it would take for me to end up in probably a worse situation than I was the last time, and there wasn't many more of them left. Doing the steps, but having people around that have been in a similar position, or it doesn't have to be alcohol, it can be drugs and that, and talking to them, it's been a huge, huge thing. It's, as I say, I look forward to the day now, which I never did. My sister says to me there a couple of months ago, she actually looked happy now. I used to earn really good money working in oil and gas, and I thought I could spend but I probably wasn't happy. To me it was just more time for partying. But the biggest worry I had trying to stop drinking was, what am I going to do?
What are you going to do with your life, or just in general?
What am I going to do without alcohol?
Yeah, because it's been such a part of your life for a long time, yeah. So a big change for you was when you first got into recovery, not being alone, right? Not being isolated like you did last time, went back to your condo on your own, right?
Yeah.
And then you seem to have found recovery through Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Fair enough to say?
Yeah.
Or it's a big part of your recovery?
It's a combination of things. Come up and seen yourself. We talked about things that I'd bottled up for a long time. I hadn't been able to talk to anybody about. Even now there's still 2 or 3 people, it's the only people that know it in the world and that. When I was growing up, the environment I grew up, you couldn't show your feelings.
Yeah.
And later on in life, different businesses again, you couldn't show your feelings. And sitting down and talking about it, even though it was really difficult to talk about, was, again, it gives you a bit of release. And I really can say, first time in years, I enjoy life now. I maybe don't have the money I had and all that. And one of the things that cheers me up now is the shit I must have put my wife through. She stood by me, and to see her actually happy, you know, my family's happy. As I said, I wouldn't have seen I really don't think I would have seen 2020 if something.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of your friends and family, as far as I know, really surprised that you're actually alive, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was only going to end one way.
Yeah. See, I think, you know, from what I see, you've got a solid recovery. I think it is important not to isolate, absolutely, to be around other people that are going through similar stuff, right? Especially with the path you chose, going to meetings. I think that you do a lot of service, right, as well. You help other addicts and...
Yeah, you don't look at it like, if I can help one person in one little way, it would stop them taking the drug again, or stop them taking the drink, then, you know, it's a huge thing, because most people I meet in the recovery community are younger than me, and I can see I know how bad it's going to get. It's not going to get easier, it's not going to get better.
So can you see on their progression journey of alcoholism, the way it's progressing?
Yeah, you can it's only got one ending, like, you know. Misery for them and their family. But you've got to do it, number one, for yourself.
That's a very important point.
My sponsor told me something at the beginning. Donny, the people round about you, friends and family, will notice the difference in you before you'll see the difference in you. And like that, no, and it happened 2-3 months into it. Somebody just a small comment, like, you know, hey, you're looking like this, or you're talking like that. And it is, by doing it for yourself, you're indirectly doing it for all them. It's what they want, because they only want to see you healthy. I think it's so important that I see people going into treatment and they're doing it for other people, and I really don't think it'll work.
Yeah, or they're forced into treatment by
Yeah.
family, right, or loved ones and stuff like that. It doesn't work, does it?
No.
It doesn't work,
But
unfortunately.
if they do it for themselves, they're going to help everybody around about them.
Yeah.
It's,
And do you talk to family and friends about your alcoholism now, where you didn't before, maybe? So apart from the recovery community and stuff, do you actually talk to your family and friends about it as well?
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's no problem. I see so much more of it. My alcohol problem goes right back to, I've had a problem with alcohol since I started drinking.
Since you started,
I was drinking too much, can't get enough, getting in trouble. I actually think I've got an allergy. It's part of the big book that talk about that.
Yeah.
Some people believe it, some people don't.
Yeah.
But I do think the enjoyment didn't last for long.
Yeah. And would you say, following the big book stuff in the world, that you were completely powerless over it? Because you were talking about where you would at 3 o'clock you'd be like, or in the morning, I'm never going to the pub again, and then 5 o'clock you're in the bar. Is that a sign of powerlessness over it? Would you say as well?
Yeah, you can convince yourself in so many different ways that I'm only going to have a drink for this, I'm only going to have a drink for that.
Yeah.
But the last 7 or 8 years, which I realise now, I'd be going out with my friends golfing, we'd leave early in the morning, 6:30. I've seen me drinking 4 or 5 glasses of wine before we left the house in the morning. Golfing during the day, we drink beer. Out at night, it was just everything revolves around alcohol. Everything. And I just had to keep drinking more and more till I blacked out.
Serious illness, right? You would say alcoholism.
To me,
Very like.
what I've seen, I think it's. I've tried virtually every drug there is, and there's nothing. I think it's the most dangerous drug of the lot.
Yeah.
Because it's so sociably accepted.
Yeah.
And kills people.
Yeah, and it kill you. Yeah.
Destroys families.
Yeah. Destroys families and it kill you, I agree. Alright, so just before we finish then, just one last thing. So what would you kind of, what's your biggest thing you do to maintain recovery? Because now you're in recovery and you're getting towards a year. What's like one of the biggest things you think you do that helps you maintain it? Is it the talking to people still? Is it being part of a fellowship?
It's being part of the fellowship, talking to people on a daily basis. Saying my prayers in the morning. Some people see, thinking of how bad things were, it might work in that. But to me it does. I say my prayers in the morning, remembering what it was like at the end. I would have to drink and vomit 3 times in the morning at the end before I could get enough alcohol in me to stop shaking.
So you're saying there's a daily practice that you do that reminds you of what it was like?
Every morning I remember.
Every morning?
Yeah. And how quickly I could go back to that. And another really bad binge. Especially now because my body's not tolerant at all to it.
Yeah. So that's really important as well. Don't take that first drink, right?
Yeah.
Because you know where it's going to go. It's going to...
There's no stop.
There's no stopping. You can't stop once you start again.
And everyone gets worse.
Yeah. Alright, brilliant. Thank you for sharing that. And I do hope it's provided some inspiration for you. But if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit the like button, or at least leave a comment, because leaving the comments we can start opening discussions about alcoholism, and we can answer your comments as well, and see if we can help you. So yet again, I'm Chris from the Calm Sober House. I hope you've enjoyed this video.